General Hospital spoilers. The battle for Port Charles, DA. Molly versus Ric. Hello, GH fans. Welcome back to another in-depth discussion on the ongoing drama in Port Charles. Today, we'll explore the latest twist in General Hospital as the beloved Robert Scorpio, Tristan Rogers, leaves Port Charles with Holly Sutton, Emma Sams, opening up an exciting and potentially explosive opportunity in the district attorney's office. With Robert gone, someone has to step into the role of district attorney, DA for Port Charles. Even though assistant DAs can temporarily cover cases, an acting DA will need to be appointed until the position is permanently filled. This opens up the perfect setup for a competitive and emotional storyline between Molly Lansing-Davis, Kristen Vaginos, and her father, Ric Lansing, Ric Hurst. Molly and Ric have always shared ambition and drive, but this time they may find themselves in direct competition for the top job. Could this race for DA create a clash between father and daughter, each with different visions for the future of Port Charles? Let's dive into what this storyline could look like and how it might shake up the lives of these two characters. Robert's departure creates a power vacuum. Robert Scorpio's departure with Holly Sutton leaves a significant void in Port Charles. Robert had always been a dedicated DA, his sense of justice rivaling even the toughest law enforcement officers. His sudden leave creates a situation where someone needs to step in to maintain law and order in Port Charles. Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper, as deputy mayor, would typically oversee the temporary appointment of an acting DA, but Robert's absence seems likely to be more extended than usual, potentially pushing the need for a permanent replacement. This sets the stage for an internal struggle, with Molly Lansing-Davis at the forefront. Molly has been the assistant district attorney for a while now, and her ambition to climb the ranks has never been a secret. A father-daughter rivalry begins. With the DA position vacant, Molly feels it's her time to shine. She's dedicated herself to the DA's office, making waves as a tough but fair attorney. Yet with the DA role up for grabs, Molly's father, Ric Lansing, returns to Port Charles with his eyes on the same prize. Ric's experience as a former DA gives him the credentials, and his love for the law hasn't diminished with time. Although Ric and Molly share a love for justice, they differ in their methods. Ric, known for his cunning and occasionally unscrupulous methods, is more than willing to bend the rules to win a case or secure his position. Molly, on the other hand, wants to uphold the integrity of the legal system, her vision for Port Charles DA office aligning more with transparency and fairness. Despite her respect for her father's experience, she fears his return could undermine her own path to success. The challenges of competing with family. As Ric settles back into Port Charles, the tension between him and Molly grows. He admires her ambition, yet he believes she may lack the grit required for the harsh realities of the DA's office. To Ric, Molly's idealism could be a weakness, especially in a city where crime and corruption run deep. Molly, however, views her father's history as a cautionary tale. Ric's reputation for walking the fine line between lawful and unlawful actions frustrates her, but his influence on the decision-makers in Port Charles is undeniable. She worries that her father's questionable tactics might undo years of hard work by the DA's office. Meanwhile, Ric starts to see Molly's drive as something he himself may have lost along the way, fueling his desire to mentor her, though she's determined to prove she doesn't need his guidance. Campaign heats up. As news of the DA vacancy spreads, the community begins to take sides. Some support Molly, seeing her as a fresh, young face for Port Charles' justice system. Others back Ric, arguing his experience is what the city needs. Media outlets and community leaders weigh in, making the competition even more intense. Molly, finding herself thrust into the public eye, is taken aback by the scrutiny. The stress of maintaining a pristine public image while managing her cases becomes overwhelming. Ric, always strategic, uses his connections to gain an advantage, pushing stories that highlight his past successes and his commitment to reform. The situation only escalates when rumors of Ric's past, his involvement in questionable legal cases, surface, and Molly's team seizes the opportunity to question his integrity. Friends, allies, and old enemies. Throughout the campaign, friends and allies of both Molly and Ric weigh in, creating even more tension. Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, Molly's mother, is caught in the middle of this family feud. Alexis knows both of them well and realizes that they are on a collision course that could irreparably damage their relationship. Despite her desire to remain neutral, Alexis can't help but lean toward her daughter's side, given her history with Ric. As tensions rise, old rivals resurface. Julian Jerome, who still harbors grudges against Ric from their past clashes, returns to Port Charles, using his connections to sway public opinion against Ric. Meanwhile, Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, Molly's half-sister, steps in to lend her support to Molly, offering to dig up dirt on Ric if needed. Molly, though tempted, wrestles with her principles, knowing that resorting to underhanded tactics would put her on the same path as her father. The final showdown. As the campaign reaches its climax, Ric and Molly each prepare for a final debate, which will be broadcasted live across Port Charles. The debate draws a huge crowd, and everyone from friends to rivals is present, ready to witness this intense showdown. Ric makes his case for experience, highlighting the importance of tough decisions and resilience in the DA's office. He emphasizes his track record, suggesting that Port Charles needs a DA who has been tested and proven. Molly, however, counters by focusing on transparency, ethical governance, and the need for a new approach. She argues that Port Charles deserves a DA who will respect the law, free from the biases and controversies of the past. The tension is palpable as father and daughter square off, each fighting for their vision of justice in Port Charles. An unexpected twist. Just as the campaign draws to a close, a shocking scandal emerges. A key figure in the Port Charles underworld, Cyrus Renault, makes a public statement revealing that he has evidence tying both Ric and Molly to alleged bribes and misconduct within the DA's office. It's a low blow from a man who wants to see both candidates fail, but it has an immediate effect on the public's perception of them. The accusation forces Ric and Molly to unite, if only briefly, as they work to clear their names. Together, they conduct a joint investigation, determined to expose Renault's false claims and restore their reputations. Through this ordeal, they come to understand each other in a way they hadn't before. Molly sees the pragmatism behind Ric's tactics, while Ric gains a newfound respect for Molly's idealism and commitment to justice. A resolution and a choice. After clearing their names, Molly and Ric are left to reflect on the journey. The experience has strengthened their bond, but the competition has also changed them. Ric decides to withdraw from the DA race, choosing to focus on other ways he can contribute to Port Charles without creating further strain on his family. Molly, meanwhile, wins the community's trust and is elected DA. On her first day in office, Molly steps into her new role with both the experience gained from her father and her own vision for justice. With Ric's support, she feels ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that Port Charles will always need someone willing to stand up for what's right. Epilogue, moving forward. Molly and Ric's journey to the DA's office has come full circle. Their rivalry brought tension, but it also brought growth, leaving both of them stronger than ever. Now, as Molly serves as DA, Ric stands by her side, not as a competitor, but as an ally, proud of the woman she has become. Together, they work towards a brighter future for Port Charles, united in their commitment to justice, even if they have different ways of getting there. Thank you for tuning in to this exciting storyline breakdown on General Hospital. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more in-depth General Hospital updates. We'll be back with more spoilers, drama, and predictions right here on our channel. Stay tuned.